Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season Gaming's E3 Day 1 coverage. So in the video today, we're going to be going through kind of what we went through at E3. You got to keep in mind, this is our first E3 in person. So we're going to kind of go through what we did throughout the day. And as we have learned through most of our day today, we're going to kind of plan out and kind of strategize what we're going to be doing on Wednesday and Thursday. So tomorrow and the day after. So we started our day off by going to the Microsoft experience. That was actually started before the main doors of E3 opened. So we figured we would knock that out first. We got a ton of good information there. We got a pretty good spot in line, and we were able to see a lot of gameplay. We were able to play a lot of games, and we were actually able to talk to a few developers. So we'll kick it off in the order that we did things. So first thing we did was Forza Horizon 4. We weren't actually able to record a lot of gameplay when we were playing, but we got a few pictures of us sitting at the booth. Fantastic. We loved, I think, every aspect of it. The way the demo that we actually played moved was it showed us 3 different terrains, 3 different types of vehicles, and then you did kind of a short race for each one of them, and then it kind of compiled all 4 into one. And that was kind of the end of our demo. I would guess the demo was about 5 to 7 minutes long total. And it was fantastic. So what you've seen online, what you've seen at the Microsoft conference is what it is. It is great graphics, gameplay, movement. I loved it.
Yeah, everything you expect from Forza Horizon. The big question, of course, was how are they going to top Forza Horizon 3? Well, seems like they did it because it looks somehow even better. Beautiful, smooth. The changing of seasons, basically the 4 segments we got to play were one for each season with a different vehicle. And so you got to experience the icy roads and then going full into summer and spring. Spring and autumn in particular just look absolutely ridiculous.
I like summer. Summer looked great too.
Yeah. Well, it all did. But yeah, fantastic. You didn't really say much more about it. It's what you expect and more. I think seasons are going to be a big thing, and I think the dynamic world is going to be really cool too.
Yeah, really quick to touch on it. In the so keep in mind the Microsoft experience was outside of the E3 halls that house most of the E3. At E3, they did have the McLaren Senna in person. You could get right up to it. You couldn't get in it. You couldn't touch it, but it was circling in one of those I don't even know what you call those turnstile. Yeah, turnstile type thing. We have a video of that, which you're probably watching right now. And then they were also showing a bit of Forza Horizon at the Mixer booth. So those are the places that were there. Yeah. So there was also, you might be seeing online, there was a simple screen in front of us. And there was also a kind of virtual massive screen where you could get in and it would actually move you around. We didn't actually decide to wait in line for that. We got our demo and then we moved on to the next game. Mm-hmm. So as we move to the next title that we looked at is Ashen. And I will let Ains talk to you about that. He actually played it. I was talking to one of the developers, and Ains followed up with him afterwards. So I have mainly pictures for it, but Ains, why don't you tell us about your experience on the game?
Yeah, this is a game I've been looking to for a long time now. They showed it a couple years ago, I believe, E3 2016 originally. It is I don't even like to say the word Souls-like anymore, but it's kind of got that same methodology. It's supposed to be challenging. You know, you die quickly. You pick up, oh God, I'm going to have to look at the footage to see the name of the things.
Talismans.
Yeah, there's talismans, which are like passive effects. So it felt really good. I was really kind of intrigued by it as I started playing it. The developer we spoke to was an animator, I believe.
He was the lead animator director. Yeah, he was pretty high up there.
Yeah, and he was really, really nice. Kind of told us a little about the game. So they've obviously been working on it for a while now. They're very close to having it finished. They had the full game here.
Full game was there. The current build of whatever they're at. They did mention that there are still some tweaks and stuff they'd like to clean up on it.
Yeah, and it felt good.
Full game. Yeah.
It felt good. The only thing I really noticed was frame rate. A couple frames here and there dropping, but nothing really bad. I wouldn't even think most people would notice it. But I was already having fun exploring. It is going to have an AI companion that you can have, so you can run around in the world single player and have an AI companion. You can actually, I saw in the menu, you can dismiss your companion if you'd rather just go at it solo. Right after the intro to the game, you're going to be able to play co-op for the whole game as well. So if you're one who kind of likes the Souls games, but you find them too challenging or you find this too hard, you can bring a buddy in and help you out. It's going to have full kind of armor customization, weapons. It had very similar to Souls where you could have a shield. You have the parrying. You're able to use different weapons and switch with them on the fly, ranged attacks, melee attacks. Really enjoyed it. I could have, like I said, I could have spent some hours there playing it, but good conversation with the developer. He really said, they're tuning it up to be what it can be, but they're hoping to ship this year, which is the first time we've heard that officially from the developer.
Yeah, so big news there. As I did said, what was kind of cool here is they had only one screen, unfortunately, with Ashen. We got to spend some time. Love what we saw, and we're excited it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
So very cool. After that, we did move into the next section of, I guess you'd call it the experience, which was downstairs. And we got up close and personal with the adaptive controller, which was really cool. We actually talked to another one of the developers.
One of the lead designers.
One of the lead designers for it. First impressions, we have pictures of it, obviously, that you're looking at right now, but it's really small. So I was surprised at the size of it, because if you look at it in the commercials and the ad for it in general, it feels like it's a bigger controller, but the whole thing is maybe this big.
Size of a tablet.
Yeah, size of a small tablet.
Switch, maybe.
Yeah, actually, the Switch is a good thing for it. We got to touch it. We got to mess with it. We looked at all the ports. Very cool. Very neat idea that Microsoft came up with to kind of help the gaming community that doesn't have the same abilities that everybody else does. And also, it's a good way to enhance the experience as well for people that maybe want to add a separate way of hitting buttons on the controller. So
yeah, I spoke to him for quite a bit, and I have a really good friend whose brother, also a good friend, was severely injured in a car accident and has been paralyzed for the rest of his life. And so I asked some questions about it, and it's really neat because all those ports you see on the back of it actually translate to one of the buttons or functions of a normal Xbox controller. That's why there's so many of them, and you can put in all these different peripherals to, depending on your disability, what will help you play the game the most. And the really neat thing too, he said, is that the development teams that work on games for Xbox don't have to do anything differently at all. To them, it just shows up like a standard standard Xbox controller. And so, there's nothing additional they have to do. And I thought that was really neat as well. So he was really pumped about it. He said the response to it has been fantastic, and they start shipping in September.
Yeah, other thing, I asked him about battery life on it. He says depending on what type of peripheral you're using, somewhere between 25 and 40 hours on one charge. Awesome. The charging time is pretty quick too. They said 2 to 3 hours for a full charge, which is very fast for charging these days. So really cool. They had a ton of peripherals laid out that you could kind of see and get an idea of what's coming for it. So that was cool. While Ains was finishing his conversation, and before I went to go talk to him, I was watching Jump Force. They had 2 screens for Jump Force. So this is the anime brawler, I guess you could call it. We saw mainly Naruto and Dragon Ball Z in the Microsoft Reel when they were showing it. Very interesting looking game. I don't really know what to think of it outside of being excited for the characters. It feels like a Dragon Ball Z Budokai game. The gameplay is very reminiscent of it, and it plays near identical, which is really cool. I would say that there's going to be a lot more characters from it. There was only about 6 characters that were available in the demo. Like I said, there was only 2 screens, so we didn't actually get to play it. We are going to play more of it tomorrow when we return to the main hall, and probably spend some more time just to kind of have our hands on it. You are watching gameplay from the Microsoft experience now, and I got a good chunk of it watching someone else play. So it looks cool. I am not as excited for it as I thought I would be after seeing the gameplay. And I wonder what kind of changes they'll make to it before launch.
Yeah, nothing really to say on Jump Force. I was speaking about the adaptive controller, and then I actually jumped over to, while you spoke to the gentleman about the adaptive controller, I moved over and started watching some Kingdom Hearts 3, funny enough. So the footage you're watching right now, I recorded at the Xbox Experience off screen. It looked like it was kind of like a boss battle. With some things I hadn't seen before. Now, I don't follow everything about Kingdom Hearts, but I thought it would be interesting for you guys to kind of see a different angle of it. So that's the footage I captured here. We
kind of joked about it. Kingdom Hearts is all over the place this E3. So if past E3s we had complained about Kingdom Hearts not being enough of it or anything, it's everywhere. It's at the Microsoft conference. It's at the main halls, in both halls, not only at the Sony one, but also in the South Hall, where you can kind of see it being played at the Square booth as well. So it's everywhere. There's gameplay everywhere on the web, and hopefully you enjoy ours as well. After that, we moved on to Ori. So Ori and the Will of the Wisps was available to be played, which I think we knew it was going to be there. We just didn't really think about it, I guess, when we were planning our move around the Xbox experience. They had plenty of booths for it. We both played quite a bit of it. We really enjoyed it, or I won't speak for you, but I really enjoyed it. There was a ton of new mechanics. And from what I understand, the whole game was also there to be played. So we actually I talked to one of the developers there while I was watching Ains play, and it's very polished already. As we expected, it looks beautiful. I can't wait to see it in the 4K HDR stuff on a legit TV to see it pop the way it could. But if you like the first one, you're going to love this one.
Yeah, I thought it sucked. Obviously kidding. You said it all. It's absolutely gorgeous. The colors, everything you think about Ori and what you've seen in the footage so far seems to be true. Incredibly fluid feeling. Mm-hmm. You can actually assign skills now. So 3 different skills and different attacks. You can assign them to different buttons at will. So it's almost like a miniature skill tree. Yep. Yeah, enjoyed the hell out of it. And they were giving away not only some of the Xbox pins, which we were collecting today, but cookies.
Cookies, which was interesting. I haven't even eaten mine. I'm not sure if I will, but at the same time, a cookie will go bad, so that'd be weird. But so we continued to move through the experience, and there had to be 40 different booths for Battlefield 5. We got our fill of Battlefield 5 at EA Play, so we didn't bother with it. We figured we wouldn't wait in line, and there really wasn't that much of a line to play it with the fact that there were so many booths. So they were play a match, they'd cycle in, cycle out. What did have a long line was Sea of Thieves information and content, and they were also giving temporary tattoos of Sea of Thieves lore, which was really cool. And we ran into an executive that works at Rare. Ains recognized them right away. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So ran into executive producer, Rare Journey. So he's the guy who does some of the developer diaries and the upcoming, for Rare and the videos of what's upcoming for Sea of Thieves. So happened to see him taking a video of the crowd, kind of waiting to get their Sea of Thieves tattoos and pins and other things. And just kind of started up a conversation with him. Nicest guy.
Very nice.
Yeah. Talk to us about the future content. So he was actually gave us some insight around, I mentioned the E3 presentation with the additional expansions that are coming in July and September. And he said that they've actually been hiring up at Rare to, they have more people working on Sea of Thieves now than they ever have in its development history. He said they're really doubling down on the game and content. They're really going to start developing some really neat things for the long term. So if you had any doubts whether or not Rare and or Microsoft are committed to Sea of Thieves, don't, because we heard it from the horse's mouth quite literally today. And really, really nice guy. So if you don't follow him already, check him out on Twitter and check out the Rare YouTube account, because that's where they post the Sea of Thieves developer diaries. But yeah, that was a pleasure. Yeah, it was actually really cool how nice of a guy he was. A lot of those people could care less sometimes to talk to fans or even people that are at the conference to learn more about the game. So it was really cool. Yeah. We moved back upstairs to start making our exit and our way to E3. We got up close and personal with Division 2. So Ains got some really good capture of Division 2. Well, actually, funny enough, some of the Ubisoft development team was playing the game, as well as fans were playing the game. And we actually watched the guy just destroy people sniping all over the place. He was just picking people off, and it looked really, really cool. So if you weren't excited about Division 2, hopefully our gameplay is kind of making you look twice, as well as just learning more about the game. It looks really good. I'm more excited about it, and I was kind of down on Division 1 from its horrible launch. But tomorrow, one of the things we're going to go back to the Microsoft experience for is a game that Ains has been super excited about. It's Below. Unfortunately, they had one screen for Below, and there was a bit of wait time both the times that we went. We did briefly talk to one of the developers of the team. We're super excited about it, and we hope to go back tomorrow and have Ains give it a try, and I'll get some gameplay for you guys on screen. So kind of took some footage today, checked it out for a little bit, spoke to the developer, and it's interesting because it's kind of in the corner, and it's really dark. It's a really dark game. And so it's kind of hard to really give you a good sense of the feel for the gameplay or footage, but we'll do our best. But again, it was really interesting to speak to the developer about their plans, what has been happening over the past several years since they announced it. We know how long this game was announced, 2013. So it's been 5 years. long story short, some good news here anyway, is that the developer told us directly, just like the Ashen one did, that their plan is still to ship this year in 2018, which is previously kind of unheard of. So again, really nice getting to speak to multiple developers today and people from the studios, because we're hearing news directly from them. So get some more on below tomorrow, as you said.
Yep. So we'll start actually talking about the E3 that was on site and let you know how it works. So once again, Microsoft does theirs at their theater. And it's pretty cool because instead of having just a big booth, they have everything right in one site that's going on there, and they had a ton of things for you to play. When we got to E3, the lines were insane. It is a big convention, and we wanted to kind of figure it out for ourselves and kind of scope out everything. And we finally made our way to a few areas to give things a try. We didn't want to fight some crazy crowds until tomorrow, where we can focus on specific things, and we'll talk more on that topic at the end of our conversation here. But the things that we did play and spend a bit of time on. So right off the bat, we did get some Call of Duty Black Ops 4 gameplay. We weren't able to record, unfortunately, but we did get footage or pictures of us actually playing the game. We played two different games one was Domination and another one was Hardpoint. And my impressions were this game's actually pretty good. It's very different from past Call of Duties in the sense to where, to me, it's a bit more tactical. The customization is a bit deeper and very different. If you were expecting similar menus and navigation of the characters and how they load out, what their loadouts are, very different. So it's a bit of a learning curve from other ones. A lot of times you can just jump into any Call of Duty and play where you left off. This one does have a mechanic where you have to heal yourself. What do they call it? Adaptive healing, or
I don't remember. It
was a specific healing. So right after you get hit in past Call of Duties, you kind of just step away and your health builds up right away. And this one, it doesn't. You have to kind of step back and you have to inject yourself with, I guess, some health, I guess, whatever they want to call it, which definitely changes the game quite a bit. As I did mention, there was different loadouts, different classes that did different things. And I guess our total playtime was somewhere in the 20-minute range.
Yeah, it was a couple long matches.
Yep.
The interesting thing I found is that there's kind of 8 character classes. Mm-hmm. And on your team, so of the 5 people, it's 5 on 5. Mm-hmm. You can't be more than one of each, right? Once a person on your team selects one, they're locked in and no one else can select that. So, and then each person has like an ultimate move. Mine was like an active radar. If you ever played Halo 4, Promethean Vision was it to a T. But the goal, of course, is working together. So it definitely feels like Call of Duty. It played like Call of Duty. The shooting, the hit markers, the movement, everything, Call of Duty to a T. Yep. But they're trying to add a few new wrinkles, it feels like. The only thing that was disappointing to me is, and this is just me personally, is always the maps. I just felt the maps were still very small, very lane-based. Mm-hmm. And once you figure those out, it's going to be that same run and gun. Of course, if you like that type of shooter, then it's going to be right down your alley. Yeah,
it's your traditional Twitch shooter, which is going to have that in there. So if you love that stuff, you're going to love this one. Yep. There is going to be a bit of a learning curve though from past Call of Duties, and there's a lot of stuff changing for it. For example, we played on a PS4, but they also had PC gameplay stations as well, and they are moving a lot of the game into the PC realm, or at least attempting to, I should say, which is interesting. But so far what we've played looks cool. There's a lot of stuff for Call of Duty that has not been really seen yet. We don't know about the Blackout mode, which is their Battle Royale version.
Not even talking about it.
Yeah, they're not even talking about it. I think that's intentional. They're going to wait as it gets closer to the release date. They are slated to have it ready at release. So it will be all part of the same ship title. There's potential other stuff that may come out down the road, but I guess we'll hear more about that when it's released. We don't really know much else about it.
No.
So we had a good time there.
It hurt my eyes.
Yeah, too much UV protection. We then moved over to, let's see, we did some Code Vein. So we went to the Bandai Namco area. They had, as I just mentioned, Jump Force was available there. They had the new Soul Calibur available there to be played. And
Geralt.
Yeah, we saw Geralt being played. They had some employees, I guess you'd call them, come out in full costume. The Taki was there, Siegfried was there, and Sofita, I think her name is. I can't remember her name, but she was out. You're probably not the biggest.
You're out of my realm now.
Yeah, they came out. People taking tons of pictures. It was a lot of fun. But we actually played Code Vein. We're not the biggest fighter fans, so we didn't really wait in line for Soul Calibur, but we will get some gameplay footage from it tomorrow. Code Vein. So we got up there. I actually played. So Ains, the footage you're watching now is me playing.
Yeah, it's not me.
Yeah, I did pretty well, actually. Thank you very much. I love the art style of this game. It's another Soul style game. We need to find a better name for that, by the way. No longer.
It's got to be something else we can say.
Survival, I don't know, something. But it played really well. We played for exactly around 6 to 7 minutes was our gameplay time. It wasn't as difficult as I was expecting. I actually got through pretty much everything. It wasn't until the end when I had the thing beeping in front of me that I had 3 big boss guys coming at me and I got killed. But the gameplay appears to be very tight. It's semi-quick. It's not as slow as your traditional Souls game. Yeah. It's like a mix between Souls and Bloodborne, and right in the middle is kind of the speed. Bloodborne feels a bit faster, but it looks really pretty. It is shipping very soon. So we're going to be able to play it and you'll be able to purchase it, but hopefully you enjoy the gameplay. I think everybody had the exact same 7 minutes from that part of the game.
Yeah, it was definitely just a slice. And looked good. I did want to play it, but they were not allowing inverted movement. Yeah. So I went to set up to play it, and I couldn't move the camera, and I asked him if I could change it. He said no, and I handed the controller to Bert. So,
and that's when you saw the genius being played.
So, yeah, it looks good. I don't know. I was a little turned off, and you can't tell because of the slice of the game. I was a little turned off with how narrow it was, almost corridors.
It was at that part. Yeah.
So it might just be that part. I don't know. But otherwise, it looked good. It looked smooth. Played well. It's pretty.
Yeah.
If you like that anime style in the game, you'll definitely like it. It pops on the screen, and yeah, no, I thought it was cool.
Yep. So we did a lot of walking around in the hall. We stopped by the GameStop Funko booth to try to get some of the exclusive stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. We unfortunately were too far back in line, and what we wanted had sold out already. Then we moved over to, funny enough, the Hyperkin booth, which was kind of a fun booth because we're big fans of the Duke controller that recently released, and they had all kinds of the colors that were out for the Duke back in the day. They did mention that it has not been officially announced that they will be available for sale.
They're gauging interest.
But they are gauging interest and advised us to look back or look into the future as far as what they may announce.
And they had, they had green, blue, orange, and red.
Yes. Yeah, I have a picture of it. We'll be showing it right now. The other thing that was interesting is I did ask if the controller S would be available, and they read back jokingly a response that was very scripted by saying they like to get feedback from the community and to also look for announcements in the near future.
Yeah, it was the head of marketing.
Yeah, head of marketing, and they were giggling it up. Ains did get to play some Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate, I believe.
The other player didn't, am I right?
We got these cool glasses.
It's been a long day.
We got these cool glasses from Hyperkin they gave us because they love talking to us at Season Gaming. It was pretty fun. But yeah, so it was kind of a cool booth. If you like, I wouldn't say they have the best quality products ever, but they're fun for what they are. So it was a lot of fun. And lastly, we did run by Bethesda. We ran by Ubisoft. That's going to be some of our focus tomorrow. Like I said, I'll touch more on that. We made our way back to the main hall. And this main hall is dominated mainly by Sony and Nintendo, and also some of the big media outlets like IGN and GameSpot, and a few other independent sections of news and booths. And I think they had like an indie, what do they call that place? The Indiecade, where there was a ton of developers that work on indie software and hardware. So that was cool. We did go by the Sony area. It was mainly Call of Duty being played. But one of the big things we're going to touch on later in the week is Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was able to be played. They had a huge section, tons of screens. We're probably going to try to wait till the crowds are at a manageable size because the crowds were late. The lines for the crowd were really long even towards the end of the day. But we tried to capture some footage, but unfortunately the screens were far from where we could record from. But it looks phenomenal. I think we loved it. Flying through the city, awesome. They had a massive screen in the background that you could see. They were showing announcements and video. People were sitting down on the ground and watching. They also had a bit more news conference with some interviews that they were showing on screen. That was cool. Nintendo probably has the coolest layout of a booth this year.
Yeah, their booth is fantastic.
It is massive. Yeah. And we got our hands on the new Smash Brothers. So I mentioned yesterday, this morning, that you had to have reservations to get it, and you did, but we waited for the last 45 minutes of the conference to make our way there. And guess what? We got in about 20 minutes through the line. We've got 4 full matches to play. They usually only give you 2, but since it was the end of the evening and they didn't have such a long line, they were letting everybody play 4. We got partnered up with 2 strangers, and we did get a full match, which is up on our channel on YouTube right now to play. I am not as excited for it as I was this morning when we were watching. And the main reason for me is because the game is pretty much a port. It is a port from the Wii U game. The big difference and the big selling point to this game, and you've heard it mentioned over and over, not only on the Nintendo E3 announcement, but while we were playing, the people that work at Nintendo kept telling us all the characters ever will be available. All the characters that were there will be available. There's new costumes. There's new costumes. That's all that's new here, folks. The menus are exactly the same. The character select screen is exactly the same. The level select screen is exactly the same. The control is exactly the same. I picked Link a couple of times, who's my main character. He plays exactly the same.
He plays too well because he won. So.
Yeah, he plays exactly the same. I used the same moves. It was the same frame by frame. It was the same. The biggest things that was mentioned this morning, and it's probably why they spent so much time going into the deep dive, is that there has been a ton of tuning to every character. There's been a few new things added and tweaks to every character. As I mentioned, the Pokemon trainer now has the 3 main Pokemons that were able to be played with, or at least seen, like a Charizard is no longer by himself anymore. And they've added a bunch of new people. Snake was playable during the demo. I kind of avoided him because he wasn't my favorite character anyways, but he's cool in there. The graphics are cool. It definitely looks like I said, a port. It looks like the Wii U to Switch treatment that we've seen, which is a sharper game, faster load times, but overall it's the same game. So if you are looking for a new experience with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Switch, it is not a new experience. It's simply a larger roster. It was fun. We had a good time. Yeah. A lot of chaos as always under Super Smash Brothers. But we'll see how much Nintendo sells this game as a new title. I would even guess that by the title, it's not being viewed as a new title. If you think about it, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, it might simply be kind of like Mario Kart Deluxe was. It simply has all the DLC, everything added to it. But it was still fun. We were getting a lot of good responses from the fans that were there. If you're a Nintendo fan, you're going to love it no matter what.
Yeah, and the booth they have set up just for Smash Brothers is ridiculous. So a really neat setup. I don't know much about Smash Brothers, so I had fun playing it. It's chaos as usual. The Nintendo Direct rep that we were speaking with was very helpful and enthusiastic.
She's a sweetheart, yeah. She was really nice.
Yeah, so she recorded footage for us while we were playing. Like Bert said, you can find that match. We took 1 full match clean for the site. And I had fun playing it, but I don't know any better. That's why I was just letting you kind of speak it.
Yeah, so it's interesting because a lot of people still play the 64 one. They still play the GameCube one. They still play the Wii one. And they still play the Wii U version of Super Smash Brothers religiously. So if you're into playing the Wii U version and you just want those new characters back, this is the game for you. If you played the Wii U version to death and you have no interest in new characters, you are good with that. At the same time, if you want to watch it and play it on the go, you're going to probably pick it up for that reason. It's cool. It's exciting. And that was pretty much it. I
did use Ridley.
Oh, yeah. You use a new character, Ridley, which is the main villain from Metroid.
Yeah, the only new character they're adding, right?
Only new character at launch. So maybe we'll see some more characters that are DLC. The Wii U version had a ton of DLC, they had Cloud. They had Bayonetta. They had a few other ones that came later on down that. Ryu was initially a DLC character for the Wii U one. So we might see something similar to that. Games we didn't get to play at the Nintendo booth, which once again we'll be focusing on later this week, are Mario Tennis, Tennis Aces. I'm not sure we'll play the Pokemon Go game. It's not really our style of a game, but we'll probably get some gameplay footage for you just to see it.
Don't speak for me.
I will get that for you. Fortnite Switch was playable and present. Yeah. We are actually probably going to play that here at our hotels and give you impressions on it sometime this week. But overall, it was a beautiful booth. The screen was massive. It was probably the biggest widescreen I'd seen at a convention. So it was really cool. And we'll try to see what else we can get from Nintendo. Anything else you want to talk about Nintendo while we briefly touch on it?
No, I don't think so. I think you covered it. I think one of the cool things, just to mention it, is they actually, surrounding the whole Smash Brothers booth, they have these oversized props in glass cases for like each character. We took a bunch of pictures. So for instance, they have like Donkey Kong's tie, but it's like 4 feet or 3 feet tall, you know?
If he was a real character, it would fit him.
Yeah, exactly. And Mario's hat and
Link's sword.
Donkey Kong's hammer.
Yep.
Link's sword, the Master Sword, right?
Oh, that was King Dedede's hammer.
Okay, we'll go with that. You know better than me. Bayonetta, they have like the pistols, right?
Yeah, the pistols and her shoes that have the pistols on it. Yeah.
So anyway, it was pretty cool. And out of all the booths, I think Nintendo did the best job of the booth.
Yeah, they were my favorite booth at E3. Unfortunately, like I said, Microsoft has their own building.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft isn't really a booth.
It's not really a booth; it's a building. But it was cool. And that's kind of what we knocked out today. Like I said, we did a lot of mapping out for the rest of this week. So we're going to kind of let you know what our plans are. So for day 2, we are going to be focusing more on I guess this is the South Hall. I might be mixing these up, South or West. We're going to be focusing on Ubisoft. So we'll be trying to get Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This was the longest line at Ubisoft, was the Odyssey booths. There was lines all day and even later in the afternoon, there was a long line.
And they got Skull and Bones is playable as well.
Skull and Bones is playable. We're going to try to play that, get some gameplay for you. For Honor, we took some funny pictures at the For Honor booth. Yep. But we'll actually try to, maybe Ains will try to play that. That's not my game at all. And we are actually going to put our hands on Division 2. So we'll be focusing there. Right after that, we're going to move over to Bethesda, and we'll try to get as much of the Fallout 76 experience. They have a very fun booth.
Very cool, yeah.
And then Rage 2. Not really much to see on Doom Eternal outside of the statue that they have. They have a massive demon there that you can get a picture with. And then lastly, tomorrow we're going to be focusing on the Square Enix booth, so where we're going to be able to play Dragon Quest XI and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was not only at the Microsoft experience, but also at E3 with more screens and more things to play.
Massive booth as well.
Yeah, they have massive stuff. They had like shrubbery all over the place. It was done very, very well. And then our plans for Thursday, the last day of E3, are to focus on Sony and Nintendo and mix other things into it that we really didn't get a lot of time in. So that's kind of what to expect from us for the rest of the week. Keep in mind, the longest days of E3 are tomorrow and Thursday. Today was the shortest day for simply fans. Media had their longest day today to go in, see the conference for themselves. So the fans kind of got the shaft today. Fans will get more content and availability to do things tomorrow and Thursday. So stay tuned in. We'll try to keep as much stuff flowing through, even outside of our recaps, like gameplay and stuff like that. You'll be able to, as I mentioned, watch the gameplay during this recap and also by itself on YouTube. So thanks for listening. Anything else you want to say before we close it out?
No, we did one thing. We did create a new playlist on our YouTube channel for E3 gameplay specifically. So you can catch our recaps and thoughts of E3 and its own E3 playlist. If you're looking for gameplay off the floor, off-screen footage, things we've played, you'll find it in that playlist if you want to look at that specifically. So keep an eye out. We did upload the Smash Brothers match. We've got a bunch of other things we're going to be adding as well.
Yeah, and if you have any requests, hit us up on Twitter. It would be the best place to get us on there. We're both on there, and so is our Season Gaming account on there. So make sure you message us. We'll try to get gameplay for you. We actually had a request for Smash. Yeah, we got it right for him right away, and hopefully he enjoyed it. But thanks for listening, folks.
Good night.